Hello Tailoring Talkers, John here. In this video I'm going to be reviewing the Soundcore A30 Sleep headphones. And if your partner snores or if you live in a noisy flat, these tiny things might save your sleep and possibly your relationship. So let's start with why I got these headphones. So I am a side sleeper. I do always like to listen to music when I drop off to sleep. I find it gets me to sleep much more effectively. Side sleeping in the past with the Apple AirPods has been tricky because they stick out and are uncomfortable. And quite often, because they do stick out, as I move around in bed, they get pulled out and are lost amongst the bedsheets. So I was looking for a solution for a sort of dedicated pair of headphones that could help me sleep, listen to music in bed, and also because my other half does snore sometimes, and I do as well, it's quite useful to block out the snoring as well. I also do podcast and I do travel a lot, so I wanted something that could work both at home and on the road. And I have previously been using the Soundcore A20s, which is why I bought those as well. But partly because I was looking at the upgrade to active noise cancellation, which the A20s don't have, and because I got lured in by Black Friday deals, I did get the A30s, and I would say, in a very simple statement here, I am glad I upgraded, and I'm going to give you reasons why. So I'm going to be covering comfort, noise cancelling, the app that comes with the headphones, battery life, and whether they're actually the price. I'll tell you the full price as well as the Black Friday price. So in the box you get the buds, you get the charging case, you get the USB-C cable, and a very generous set of tips and wings to go with your headphones. And you can mix and match those to fit your ear size. The case itself is slightly chunkier than the old one. It is, I would say, about 10% larger. I'm looking at them now. Yeah, the old case was much more of a sort of an ovoid shape. The new one is flatter and more cylindrical, more like a conical shape, essentially. Not conical, cylindrical shape. They both feature the pushback lids. And there are a few differences I want to highlight about this experience when I'm using them as well. So, comfort is the whole point of these buds. I am finding I'm sleeping better with these than the previous set, which is a real plus straight away. When you do wear them, the profile is within your ear, so they don't jut out at all. Whether you bought the old ones or the new ones, it does take about 2 or 3 weeks to get used to how they feel in your ears. And sometimes there's a bit of soreness when I took them out in the morning. So I'll be honest, you do have to kind of condition your ears to get used to them being in there. Your ears do toughen up a little bit, if that makes sense. But not enough to make them a no-buy. You've got to sort of stick with them for 2 or 3 weeks. When I wake up in the morning and take them out, there's no soreness or irritation. When I roll over in bed, actually in some cases with your head on the pillow, the sound or the noise cancelling improves, but they're very comfortable on the side. So they do pass the side sleepers test, and that's the main reason I got them. So let's talk about how well they handle snoring. Within the app, there is a feature which is a sort of snoring profiling feature. And the snoring is actually recorded by the case itself and relayed back to the headphones. And you can basically set up a snore profile for your partner, and it suggests the best noise to play in your ears whilst you're sleeping. The headphones themselves can be used in both local mode and Bluetooth mode, and I'll talk more about that later on. But I tend to find I'm using my own ambient music more than I use the built-in sounds. It does use up more battery life when it's got the ANC mode, obviously. But, you know, I think that's very much, you've got to experiment with that and choose which suits you. I was a big fan of the more water-based soundscapes they use. But again, I always kind of went back to the Bluetooth mode for my music. You can store local sounds on the headphones, so if you haven't got your phone with you, or if you want to have better battery life, using the local mode, which is without your phone, you can extend the battery life. Overnight, I think Soundcore claims up a whole night of use per charge. And I am finding with these ones, because of the ANC, that I'm charging more often, but I'm still getting a full night's sleep, maybe even 2, before I need to change the headphones. One thing I have noticed, and I noticed this with the last set, is in the first couple of nights I used it, my left earbud stopped working. And you can open up the lid whilst you're in the Soundcore app, and it shows you your battery charge for individual items, the left and the right, and the case. And the left earbud wasn't charging, even though it was in the case. So I had to do a factory reset on the earbuds, which is by holding in either side, the touchpads on either side for 10 seconds. And after a couple of attempts, that fixed it. So just bear that in mind, that's kind of a quirk with the Soundcore headphones. I had the same issue with my first set as well. I do miss not having wireless charging with this, and wireless charging with the AirPods is really, really handy. It's a USB-C connection, so I mean it's plugging in the USB-C cable. But I do miss being able to just dump it and charge. I haven't yet woken up with the buds battery dead in my ears, which is really good. So, they are a night's usage, maybe 2, and then you have to recharge. Touch controls. The touch controls on the A20s would be a triple tap on either ear would put the volume up or down, and a double tap changes from local to Bluetooth, which is still the same for the A30s, but I find that they're a little bit more sensitive. And if I'm kind of shifting and moving my head around, or if I'm just sort of adjusting the buds slightly in my ears, sometimes I can set that Bluetooth local mode switch. And it's a bit annoying because I have to kind of get up and go to my phone and start the playing of my music again. So you have to be a little bit more careful with how you touch the pads. And the pads are basically just on the outside, the bit that kind of is in the center of your ear. So you can still use them as a remote device as well, which is really good. One aspect I really liked from the upgrade from the A20s to A30s is the interior of the case. So at night time with the A20s, sometimes I wake up in the night and think, well, I've had enough of these now, I don't need them anymore. Or I'm getting up early, or I'm having a bit of a lie, and I just take them out so I can listen to the sounds around me in the morning. If it's still dark, I've really struggled to put these AirPods back in the case. They magnetically click back in, but in the dark it's really, really hard to find the orientation. With the A30s, the new buds, the wingtips are slightly translucent, and I really like the LED lights that light up in the case, so that you can orient your buds and sit them in the right positions. And I've also noticed that the exterior battery level lights on the A30 are slightly less intense, so they don't sort of blind you in the night when they're on. There's a couple of kind of quality of life improvements that I really like about these new A30s, but my favourite being the light up case in the dark. So how do they compare to the AirPods in terms of sound quality? I would say they're pretty good sound quality. They're not quite as good as the AirPods. I do use them for watching videos on my phone in bed as well, a bit of Instagram, the odd podcast. But technically, I've really only been using them to sleep to. I tend to use my AirPods for watching long sequences of video or sound on my iPad or my phone. As I'm going to bed, I'll switch over to them. I would say, if you've tried previous models, the sound quality is very similar. They are brilliant if you're planning to spend money on trying to fix your sleep. I would not buy these as a set of headphones you would listen to normally. Who should buy these? I think if you live with a snorer, or you sleep in a noisy environment, maybe you sleep next to a main road or a train station, or above a restaurant or a bar. I think if you travel a lot and you sleep in hotels or planes, they're worth bringing along with you. But if you sleep like a rock anyway, or your room is very quiet, or you mainly wear daytime headphones, I wouldn't buy these. They retail in the UK at a normal price of £199, or with my deal I got with Black Friday was £160. So it's a lot of money to spend on just sleep. However, they work. And one thing I didn't mention is they also, if you do wear them overnight, you can set an alarm inside the actual buds to wake you up as well. So you can gently wake up with them without needing an alarm clock next to you. And it also means you don't miss your alarm clock if you normally set an alarm clock, because the alarm works. You've got a range of sounds from water and birds chirping and so on. So I would say If you have a noisy bed partner or a noisy environment, they are essential. If you just want the latest gadget and you live in a quiet place, not worth it. So my final verdict. My pros are genuinely comfortable for side sleeping. There's good, strong, low frequency noise reduction for snoring in traffic. The app's pretty solid. You know, it's got an offline mode where you can use just the headphones, or you can still link it to your music on your phone in Bluetooth mode. They are a bit of a premium price, however, the cons. They're a premium price for a kind of a low single purpose gadget. So you've really got to commit if you're going to buy these. The touch controls can be a bit fiddly if you're asleep in bed. The battery's good, but not endless like your AirPods, which last all the time with a charging case. If you use ANC a lot, you'll be charging more regularly. For me, I would say that they are not a perfect device, but easily the best sleep buds I've used so far, and a great upgrade on my A20s, the previous ones I used. So if your environment is noisy, your partner's noisy, I think this is the upgrade your sleep routine really needs. Thank you for watching, and obviously if you like these videos, do subscribe for more, and I'll see you on the next one.